the Leon Guarantee. Call now to learn more. Radio guys coming in with via the yacht today again as we get ready for the Phillies Marlins, and we get set for the finale of this series. We are pleased to be joined by the radio voice of the Marlins. He's no longer the new voice. They keep running that. You're not the new guy anymore. But Jack McMullen, welcome, pal. Steven Strom, award-winning Marlins on Deck pregame host, does a great job on radio. Good to see you.
Great to see you. Thank you, guys. I guess, like Rod said, we're in the movies now.
Yeah, you are. This is the big leagues.
And Rod missed the memo of the gray-colored jacket today. What happened?
I don't know. You know I don't follow the rules.
Hey, we actually had a phone call about what to wear today.
You did?
And we said, you know what, dress down a little bit. We're radio guys. We have to look like radio guys.
All right, well, good to see you guys aboard. Nice seeing a jacket for a change. That's first time this season. All right, let's talk pitching, guys, and we'll start it off with Sandy Alcantara. We'll get to some other topics later, but when you talk pitching here, maybe, Steve, you can lead us off. Sandy's been better of late. Where do you surmise he is right now as we hit mid-June?
Yeah, me and Jack and the entire radio crew, we've kind of like labeled starts, and I think for Sandy Alcantara, he continues to trend in the right direction, and it's because of the walks. 12 walks in the month of May and 5 starts. He has 3 in 3 June starts. That's been the big key for him. He's been able to get ahead. He's inducing contact. He's never been a strikeout guy, but I think you're starting to see residue and little traits that we've seen from Sandy from the past.
Enjoy calling his games?
I love it, man. And really what I've seen with Sandy Alcantara is the changeup is getting better and better. Rod, I know you can speak to that as well. At the beginning of the year, it felt like Sandy was just bouncing his changeup time and time again. There was a start at Dodger Stadium in LA where he was borderline uncompetitive with that changeup. It's gotten better. That changeup was his Cy Young pitch. It's made him look like that old version of Sandy.
Something I've noticed with Sandy is his four-seam fastball. Before, his fastball would run like this, but now his fastball is true. In his last 3 starts, it's a true four-seam fastball. No longer is that ball running out of the strike zone against the left-handed batters out of the strike zone. So I think that's one of the biggest keys for me.
Edward Cabrera pitching the game tonight. 2 earned runs or less. 6 of his last 7 starts, albeit the last one he went out after 3 with that injury. How impressive you been with the Edward we're seeing? And is this the guy we can sort of count on going forward, in you guys' opinions?
I hope so, and I think so. Edward Cabrera, what he has done is he has established confidence within the strike zone again. And watching from afar before this year, you saw the inconsistent Cabby. Now I think what you're getting is a consistent Cabby. Obviously, he was awesome in the month of May. In June, it's been a little different statistics-wise, but all in all, Edward Cabrera has really put together consistent, solid starts when he's on the hill for 4 or 5 innings.
Yeah, Jack hit it on the head. I mean, we've seen the great Cabrera. We've seen the bad Cabrera. This year, we're seeing the consistent Cabrera. And I think it's an interesting storyline to look at the coaching staff and Daniel Moskis. And Edward Cabrera, I don't know if he fit the coaching staff the last couple of years, but sometimes all it takes is the right staff, the right analytical numbers for him to go out there. And I think you're just seeing more of like an effortless Edward Cabrera. He's not afraid to throw in the strike zone and get hit.
That's a great point. Of all the pitchers that we have, I think that this staff, they've made the biggest impact on him. He no longer is the guy that walking people. He's got some of the best stuff in all of baseball, but this staff, they've really been able to reach him and get him to get in the strike zone.
All right, now Jansen Junk, here's the news of the day. He will be starting the ball game tomorrow. Adam Major did a nice job. He goes back down to AAA. Junk has been, Rod, how impressive has this guy been? Mostly in that role of coming in that second guy and then giving you 4, 5, 6 good innings.
He's got ice water in his veins. I mean, here's a guy that showed up in spring training. He made a real nice impression, and that's why he got the opportunity to come back up. Take a look at his numbers in 5 games. 2.78 earned run average. He has 1 save, 22 innings pitched, and he pitched some really good innings for this ball club.
Yeah, we were really excited during spring training watching him. He's got a really good slider, a strikeout pitch. He's actually punched out 8 guys on that 4-seam fastball as well. The big question now, it's a lot easier coming out of the bullpen. Now teams are going to start to prep for you as a starter. How can he tweak? What's going to be the difference with Jansen in that starting role?
I just wonder if it's different mentally for him, starting a baseball game versus coming out of the bullpen. He threw 5 2/3 innings in Washington, guys. That's a start. That's a starter's workload. The thing is, it just wasn't the front 5 2/3 innings of a baseball game. So I'd be really curious to see what Jansen Junk does in a starting role for the Fish against Atlanta.
I'll say this. I'll add one thing neither of you guys, none of you have added, and that's he's got the best name in baseball. Jansen Junk. I mean, it just sounds so good. Sounds like a guy you'd
leave that to you.
Pitching in the movies. All right, let's talk hitting. offense has been better, I think, than most of us would have expected. There are some areas where you look at, you say you'd like to see a little more. You look at that batting average. I know that's poo-pooed by a lot, but it still figures big time in OPS. That batting average is 5th in the league, way better than it's been in the past, well over the league average as well. Take it away.
Yeah, and I think, Rod, I want to talk to you about this because you've been around baseball for such a long time. You know how there's reverse splits on pitchers and hitters? I feel like this team has reverse splits because usually you see veteran teams comfortable in those 2-out situations, but for the Marlins, over half their runs this season have been scored with 2 outs.
I think what they've done in spring training visibly with 2 outs and 2 strikes, they make some adjustments, whether it's spreading out with the 2 feet, whether it's choking up on the bat. I think this staff is really emphasized to these players with 2 strikes, 2 outs, put the ball in play, because a lot of times the defense is overshadowing you in some way or shape or form. So you got a lot of holes out there, and they've been able to hit a lot of those holes.
Whenever we talk, Craig, to visiting announcers, right? We were just chatting with Scott Fransky, the radio voice of the Philadelphia Phillies. He uses the word scrappy. Everybody uses the word scrappy about this Marlins team.
They're gritty.
They're scrappy. They're young.
This team just doesn't quit.
I know. All I know is that they are exciting, and they're playing an exciting brand of baseball right now. Sometimes that comes with 2 outs. Actually, more often than not, it comes with 2 outs.
You better get all 27 outs, too, against this ball club, because they fight you down to the wire. Do you think Fortes had it last night, by the way? It was so close.
I thought Fortes had it totally, I got there, but
right
then you had
wall.
to fall back down.
All right, let's talk about the catching situation. Speaking of Nick Fortes, it is a 3-hit monster, as they would say in New England, and the Marlins are happy to have these 3 guys, Fortes, Hicks, Ramirez. Ron, I think it's a tremendous luxury to have that 3rd catcher where you can make a move offensively, have 2 of these bats in the lineup if you want, or make a move later in the game. You should still have another guy catching.
You know, you didn't know what you're going to get out of the Hicks and also Ramirez, but you knew what you're going to get out of Fortes. Fortes is a tremendous catcher, very good blocker, but the other 2 you didn't know. One's a Rule 5 guy, the other had never played in the big leagues, but both guys have attributed to themselves very, very nice at this level, and both guys are finding, and Clayton McCullough finding ways to get both these guys in the lineup on a nightly basis.
Ramirez has been impressive. He's come back a little bit to the pack, which you expected, but man, he's got half the year to go to continue to impress. He can make a run legitimately at 20-plus home runs.
This guy has legit National League Rookie of the Year upside this year, and he's got 25-30 homer power in there. I'd be surprised if he got to the 25 homer threshold this year, but I see 20 in his future. This guy has special bat speed, and the ball makes a loud sound coming off that barrel.
It's really cool to have someone in the lineup where you feel like every time he's up to bat, you got to put down what you're doing. And Agustin Ramirez makes you do that. And you're really starting to see, I think, not only Agustin Ramirez, but all these other moves that Peter Bendix has made. We've seen Kyle Stowers. We've seen the move with Liam Hicks. We've seen Agustin Ramirez. And we saw Adam Major last night. So I think this season it's been awesome to see all these guys come up via Peter Bendix and have success.
Absolutely. I think sometimes you appreciate it more on radio. That sounds funny because that effects mic they've got with that bat crack from Ramirez is really incredible. That was a catch. It wasn't ruled that. And the voices you hear on the radio, the play-by-play voice, Jack McMullen, Stephen Strom, outstanding award-winning host. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Award-winning host, somebody said. And so it's good to have you aboard here. Let's get to part 2 of our conversation. A show long before your time. Gomer Pyle. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Gomer Pyle?
No.
Absolutely.
Well, he used to go, surprise, surprise, surprise. And that's what brings us to our surprises here. Look it up. You'll like the show, Stephen.
Hey, these guys are only 27 years old.
Who is your
Give me some slack.
surprise?
My surprise this year, and I want to rewind for a second, is Dane Myers. Dane Myers was in a situation last year where the Marlins decided that they were going to sell off some positional players, giving Dane Myers some runway. He ends up fracturing his ankle and cuts a lot of his season out in 2024. There was question marks, especially coming into spring training, who was going to fill that outfield. Dane Myers came in spring training, put together good ABs, but I think really, and we're looking at it right here, flashing his leather. He plays such a good outfield, and we see what he's doing at the plate right now, hitting over 300, 800 OPS, and then the outfield, 6 assists, second in the Major League Baseball. And he just plays a solid center field, and really anywhere you put him in the outfield.
Don't pitch it for him anymore. I want to see him get all those at bats. The left-hander in to face all right-handers. The Marlins nearly came back to win that ball game. All right, let's get surprises around baseball. Strom, what's your first one?
It's got to be the Baltimore Orioles. The Baltimore Orioles won 91 games last year, 101 before that, and this year they let Corbin Burns go. They let Anthony Santander go, which ended up being making probably good choices because Santander had struggled and Corbin Burns obviously unfortunately went to the IL. But this team, man, there's a lot of question marks where it felt like 2 years ago there was a lot of answers. I don't know what has happened to Baltimore. They had to fire their manager and Brandon Hyde in the beginning of May. Just a ton of questions. They can't pitch, and they don't really have anyone that can hit other than Ryan O'Hearn. He's the only one with an above 800 OPS.
All right, Jack, what do you